It has been many months since I last flew to destinations. I still remember my last flight out of China was late last year, December, sometime before Christmas, when I flew back to China, when I flew back to Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. And then I was supposed to fly to Nigeria, I think in March, when we are going to have a grand launching for Nigeria market. But unfortunately, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, all this kind of gathering or meetings has been cancelled or postponed. Similarly, it happens in China. China was the first country to be hit by the COVID-19. So it has been tough and challenging. The year 2020, that is this year, has been a year of challenging, a very challenging year. It is not something we have encountered for the last 50 years or more, I think. The world has totally changed since the beginning of the year. COVID-19, which is now a pandemic worldwide, it has changed our life in an incredibly significant way. I personally have gone through a period for almost 3 weeks being locked down in my apartment in China. Never step out of my house, my apartment, for almost 3 weeks consecutively. 3 weeks in a row. I was at home with my wife, 2 of us. There's nothing we could do. At that point of time, it was, such an experience was a very awkward kind of experience. At first, we thought it will only just be China. We thought it will be gone soon because of the very strict lockdown in China. But soon we realized it's just not about China, but it is now a worldwide kind of scenario. The whole world is facing with the COVID-19 pandemic. Many countries have implemented the same level, if not more stringent kind of lockdown for their respective cities and countries. I think it happens in Malaysia, it happens in Egypt, happens in Philippines, even before Malaysia, happens in Ghana or Nigeria one way or another. This pandemic has certainly affected our life. Whether we are in a developed or developing or even underdeveloped countries, whether we are a man or woman, we are adults or children, and whether we are rich or poor, I think no one has been spared by this pandemic. Not to say that you are being infected with the disease, but our life is being infected. Our life is being affected by the disease. I cannot help but think that what lies for us in the future? Where are we heading towards? And how are we going to face with the challenges ahead of us? This pandemic has changed the way we live to a certain level, the way we do businesses as well. China was the first country to be hit by the pandemic. So we see the very fast changes. When the first pandemic first started until now, we could see the speed of changes in the whole business environment. In China, for the past few years, we have gone from e-commerce to what we call in China we-commerce. But because of the pandemic, the whole country, the whole businesses has gone into what we call social commerce now. And the trend has been very obvious during the COVID-19 pandemic in China. During the start of the pandemic in China, we have to cease our operations. Our office is closed. Our staff are not allowed to come back to office. Everyone was locked up in their own house or apartment. Our activities that we have laid down, that we have prepared and planned, we have to cancel it. Just like the grand event in Nigeria. In China, it's the same. We have to cancel all our on the ground and off the line kind of meetings and gatherings. Especially during that point of time, it was Chinese New Year. It was a celebration where we will get together with a lot of our business partners, but we weren't allowed to do that during that point of time. So during that point of time, company who acted very fast switched their operation from off the line, on the ground kind of activities and business model to on the line kind of business model. Because we have to cease the operation for 3 weeks, there was nothing that we could do apart from a little bit from working from our house. Even the logistic or the courier services has been stopped during that point of time. So like a lot of other companies during that point of time, I mean, we were like, stopped. The time for our businesses was like in a standstill at that point of time. Whatever strategic planning or tactical maneuver that we have planned at the end of last year, in the fourth quarter of last year, what we have planned for the year 2020 suddenly becomes irrelevant. It so fast. We just finished our planning, and when the year started, everything that we have planned for became irrelevant for the year 2020. So in time like this, I think all of us, you and me, all of us, we will be asking the very same question. I've been asking during the point of time. I asked myself this question as well. What is the way forward for us, for IMMERI? What are we going to do? This is a very crucial and very important question for us. How are we going to move forward during this crisis? In time of crisis and tough or rather harsh environment like this, we look for strong leadership. I mean, when I was a staff of other companies during this time of crisis, I'll be looking upon my bosses, my leaders, for strategic directions. But in IMMERI, I mean, Mr. Yap, myself, Mr. Tan, we are the leader of the company. We have to look upon ourselves for leadership and for change. From our company point of view, our board of directors and senior management play a very important role in leading the company through the storm of crisis now. And in a more microscopic view, as a leader, like every one of us here, every one of you as well, as a leader of a network of group, I mean, our role as a strong leaders are also very important. So during time of crisis, what is the leadership required of us? Mr. Yap wanted me to share with you how we face with the crisis. And I think my answer to facing the crisis is leadership. Because leadership is about coping with change. Leadership is not about managing the so-called the operation or the businesses or the process flow. No, leadership is about coping the change, especially in time of crisis. Our world is volatile. Not just the pandemic, but technological advancement, competition, changes in political and regulations are many factors that make our world very fragile and very volatile. And pandemic is just one of the key factors that make our business environment very, very fragile now. So doing what we had been doing in the past, what we had done in the past may be very successful, but facing with the challenges today, there is no assurances that by doing what we have been doing in the past will give us the same level of success in the future. So as a leader, we have to set new direction to cope with the changes. This is a very important role for leaders. You and I are leaders. It is very important for us to really show our leadership in managing the changes that we are facing with now. A strong leader makes strategic and directional decisions, and the way we make this decision is by looking at certain principles that we have. That's why I call our leadership as a principle-centered leadership. And in time of crisis, we cannot just change for the sake of changing. But when we change our direction, when we make different strategic decisions, we have to base on these changes and decisions. We have to make these changes and decisions based on certain principles. Although the world is changing and nothing stands still, but certain value and principle we cannot simply change for the sake of changing. This year, the year of 2020, honestly, is a year of change. Even before we knew that there was this pandemic, this COVID-19 pandemic, COVID-19 came as a surprise to every one of us. I mean, we all has been taken by surprise by this COVID-19. Not just us, I think the whole world, even the political leaders has been shocked at the effect of the pandemic of COVID-19. In fact, even before the COVID-19, during the last quarter of last year, in our discussion and in our brainstorming, we have already foreseen that the year 2020 is a year of change for us. This is mainly because of the technological advancement. Especially the whole world is moving very aggressively from the 4G technology to the 5G technology. You may not see it happen in your place, but we are seeing it happening in China, in Western world, in Western countries like Europe and America. And I believe we all will be seeing it soon in other parts of the world as well. So the world is changing. We foresaw that even last year. What we did not foresee is the pandemic. So the change, even without the pandemic, is inevitable. And honestly, sometimes I feel that sometimes I felt we are lucky in the sense that we actually intended for some changes to be implemented in the year 2020. But the unfortunate thing is that the speed of change has been compounded by the pandemic, the global pandemic now. In time like this, when the world is so fragile and so volatile, how do we cope with? How are we going to cope with the challenges or the very tough environment ahead of us? Like I said just now, leadership is about coping with change. You and I, all of us, we are in the middle of a storm, the storm of change. So how do we make directional decisions? This is a question about leadership. Some of us may be asking, in reality, I think you and I would have some common questions or some doubts about how are we going to carry on during this crisis. How should we carry on? Or even should we carry on with IMMERI? Or shall I move on or jump to another platform? Even I have been asking myself, shall we give up? Shall we stop doing what we have been doing and choose the easier way out during this crisis? I asked myself that question during in January when the pandemic just started off in China. We did ask that questions. But of course, our answers to that questions is very obvious. We will stick to what we are doing now. But for you, if you have the same doubt, I'm not sure what kind of decision are you going to make. As fellow IMMERIan leaders, I don't have the answer for you. I have the answer for myself, but I don't have the answer for you. What I could share with you is how we actually make our decisions during this time of crisis. we actually follow some guiding principles to find the answers for ourselves. So I'll share with you the principles that we have used to guide ourselves during this crisis when we make certain decisions. The very first leadership principle we adopted during this time of crisis is actually to embrace reality and to deal with it. Understanding, accepting, and working with reality is a matter of fact, both practical and beautiful, but at the same time, very painful. Because reality is very harsh. Reality is very tough. It has challenges. The reality has challenges since the beginning of the year. And we all have dreams. You and I have dreams. We have goals in our life. Some of us have bigger goals than others. Some of us have smaller goals than the others. But all of us want to make our dreams come true. But our dreams will only come true if our dreams are grounded in reality. So embrace and face with reality, deal with reality is the very first principle that we have to adopt, or the very first principle that guides us through this time of crisis. A successful leadership is actually dealing with is actually bringing together dreams, reality, and determinations. Reality could be harsh or painful, but our dreams could only progress or evolve if only we reflect them with reality. Fellow IMMERIans, all leaders, reality is painful for all of us, and a lot of us would resist reflecting our dreams with reality. But it is bad to avoid facing with harsh reality. An idealist dreamer could not achieve the goals because he or she is detached from the real world. Remember, the real world does not live in our dreams, but our dreams live in the real world. This is the difference. Don't make it upside down. We and our dreams live in the real world. The real world do not live in our dreams. So, faced with the reality, even though it is painful, it is harsh, or even it is tough. So in IMMERI, what is our dreams? Personally, I see our mission as our common goals, as our common dreams in IMMERI. Our mission to bring happiness to ourselves and our family through wealth, through health, through continuous growing, and also through giving back to the society. I think this is the dream that we have for IMMERI, and this is the dream that has built IMMERI for the last 3.5 years. My answer as a leader to the questions of whether we should continue lies in our mission statement, that we want to bring happiness to ourselves and our family. That's the reason why we are determined to continue to progress and to achieve our dreams of bringing happiness. But the harsh reality has made our tasks tougher, more challenging. So we have to make some changes. And these changes is not changing our mission or our dreams, but these changes is to change the way we achieve our dreams. Like I said just now, we and our dream live in the real world. The real world do not live in our dream, but our dreams live in the real world. We are lucky in a way, as last year, end of last year, we have really started some planning for the changes in 2020. Pandemic has just compounded the speed of change. We have foreseen that some of our modus operandi or our business model have to change. It's not just us. As a matter of fact, I think internationally, worldwide, globally, direct selling industry is facing with a lot of changes. We made preparations since the end of last year. We have made preparation for an upgrade in our operation, in our business model. And these changes comes about not because of pandemic then. We plan for the change because of the technological advancement, especially the 5G technology. In mobile technology, we used to say that 4G has changed our lives. But when it comes to 5G, the 5th generation of mobile technology, it will change the world. A lot of things will change when our life is really inside the 5th generations of mobile technology. And we foresee that 5G will become common and popular in developed and developing countries by end of this year. That's the reason why we have started making preparation for the changes and upgrades in our business model. More and more businesses will be conducted online. Not just businesses are being conducted online, but a lot of things will change the way we live. For instance, automatic driving, artificial intelligence will be very, very common because the speed of internet in 5G is that fast. A movie, the size of a movie could be downloaded within 5 seconds. We used to download a movie, maybe 2G or 3G kind of movie in 5-10 minutes. But in 5G's world, movies could be downloaded in 3 seconds. So a lot of things will change because of 5G, because of the technology advancement. More businesses will be conducted online. COVID-19 pandemic has just merely speeded up the change. When during the beginning of the pandemic, when we were stuck at our homes, the only way to communicate very effectively is actually through internet, just like what we are doing now. We have to conduct our meetings through internet. In China, it's the same. We have conducted even more meetings during the pandemics as compared to before the pandemics. Reason being that all of us, whether we like it or not, we were actually forced to use internet to conduct our meetings. So when we can do our meeting, we can conduct our meetings over the internet. We can actually do it on the daily basis. At a certain point in time, I have MC meetings in China almost on daily meetings or alternate day basis. Especially in March when we first started our changes. So you see, pandemic actually in a better sense, in a positive way, has changed the way we conduct our businesses, and actually, to a certain extent, we have achieved a higher efficiency as compared to before. Because before the pandemic, me and the marketing counselors in China and myself would only meet once in every 2 months. But since the start of pandemic, in the middle of the pandemic, starting from middle of February, we actually meet over internet, almost on an alternate day basis. So social media, Zooms, in China, there is this tension meetings, WeChat, has already changed the way we live. And these changes will continue for months to come, for years to come. And we were forced to adapt to the changes. Although some of us in Africa especially will say that we are developing, or even we are underdeveloped countries, our infrastructure is not that advanced. We are still in 3G kind of environment. But honestly, congratulations. If you are in 3G, you will actually leapfrog from 3G to 5G, bypassing 4Gs. You do not have to go through 4Gs. You will, jump from 3G directly to 5G. It's just like China 30 years ago. China leapfrogged from fixed copper line technology to fiber optic technologies. They actually, many parts of China do not have copper line technologies. When they develop, communications in China, they immediately put in so-called fiber optic internet technologies. They do not have the copper line technology as we did, like in Malaysia or in the US. So they are much more advanced. And before fiber optic being laid down nationwide in China, it again leapfrog to mobile technology. So many parts of China never have any fiber optics, because when they have a telephone, when they are connected with phone, they are connected with mobile phones, handphones. Many homes in China do not have fixed line now. Everybody carry a handphone. So do not be surprised if you are still in 3G technology now. You will actually leapfrog from 3G to 5G straight away, bypassing 4G. You do not have to go through 4G. So 5G will actually come to you before you know it, honestly. And because of the pandemic, we speeded up our implementation as well. We have since April 1st, we launched our Direct Sell Plus, what we call a new project, what we call Direct Sell Plus platform. We call it IMMERI Select in China. It is an apps. It is apps in our handphone. We use our biggest market, China market, to test out our so-called Direct Sell Plus project, a new version of our network marketing model. And listen carefully, it is plus. It is an add-on to whatever we are doing now. It is not an overhaul. We did not change our engines. We did not change our core. We did not change our genetic so-called heritage. We merely add on new elements to our business model. So we launched the app called IMMERI Select. Of course, it's not. It is only available in China now. We are hopefully we could launch it to the rest of the world latest by fourth quarter. IMMERI Select will change the way we do direct sales. We are already seeing that happens in China. In time to come, I will personally share with you more on IMMERI Select. We are still fine-tuning it. We are still finding more smooth way of connecting them between the so-called social commerce with our direct sale business model. In time of change, a lot of things we have to learn. And sometimes we have to unlearn as well. We have to unlearn some of our so-called baggages in the past. We have to adopt and we have to learn new things. There are certainly in time of unlearning, there are certain values that we do not change. That's why the second things that I want to share with you is our value-based leadership. When we ask what we need to do and how are we going to do it, we always refer our answers to our value, whether it conforms or it relates to our value. What are our values? I think I share with every one of you, and I keep repeating them. Our core values in IMMERI, firstly, is sharing is rewarding. Because I believe it is more blessed to give than to receive. This is the very first core value that we have in IMMERI. The second core value we have in IMMERI is success breeds success. In IMMERI, we succeed by helping others to succeed, and in turn, others will help us to succeed, to achieve a bigger success. Third value we have is filial piety, because I believe all successes come from respect, love, and care. As a leader, whatever changes we face with and whatever changes we are going to adapt, I think we have to ask ourselves all the time, are the changes in line with our value? We do not trade off our core value with anything cheaper than a higher cost. Remember that. Our core value will not change. In good time or in bad time, we always ask whatever that we are going to do they conform to the core value that we have in IMMERI? The line is very clear, it's crystal clear. Our core value is the guiding principle in making any of our directional or our strategic decisions. So even the changes in adding on new elements to our direct selling models, even when we are trying to create the apps in China, our first objective of the apps not to replace our existing model. It is a complement to whatever we have been doing in the past. And we continue to share whatever benefit or whatever good things in the new model or the new elements with our existing business partners. We are not looking for a totally new model that is independent from our direct selling model. No, we are trying to add the two together, making it into a new model. And we have already started it in China, and it has been very well received for the past 1.5 months. So our value-based leadership makes us believe very strongly in whatever new things that we are doing for our business partners. And it brings us to the third leadership principle that I want to share with you. That is, leaders must have positive thinking and positive attitudes. When certain thing happens, there are always two sides of it. One side is good, one side is bad, or one side is not so good. We always say that things happen for a reason, and things happen for good and bad reasons. Honestly, COVID-19 pandemic happened for bad reasons, but we can still look at it from a very positive point of view. In China especially, people now realize the importance of hygiene. People also realize the importance of being healthy, especially healthy by building up our strength of our own immune systems. Many doctors, health professionals has been telling people that we should take more nutrition, we should take more supplemental foods. In order to build up our so-called bodily defense system, that is our immune system, against the various type of virus. This is what we have been reading in the news. We have been hearing it from health professionals and doctors as well. Dr. Khan, our Dr. Khan, you all have been very familiar with Dr. Khan, and you all like Khan a lot. Dr. Khan has been telling us a lot of things about being healthy, and not just Dr. Khan, but health professional and expert worldwide now tell us to keep our body healthy and strong. COVID-19, in a positive way, awakened our understanding about the need for supplements. So, act well, especially be tight. These are the positive side of a pandemic. More people will need our supplements. So as a leader, we have to think positively. Yes, the pandemic has actually restricted a lot of our freedom or movement. At the same time, it has bring us, a new or a bigger potential markets, because people who refuse to accept health supplement in the past, they may now accept health supplements now, because they can see from the real world that everybody needs to be healthier, and everybody needs to build up their immune system. If you are strong, if your immune system is functioning well, it will actually shield us from the COVID-19 virus. So, more people will need our supplements. And And at the same time, our AppWell and our V-Type may not be sufficient. Just the two products may not be sufficient. So what we do in China is that we have come up with more supplement and functional food in China, but we do not develop it ourselves. It is not our brand. Through our IMMERI Select apps, we actually work with third-party brands. It's not our own brands, not our own product. We take it from third-party strategic partners. We introduce their product through our IMMERI Select as part of our repeat sales products. And this has been very well received by our customers and our business partner distributors in China, because we leverage on the assets that other people has developed and built for years. Because we are a 3.5 years old company. We cannot say that we have the ability to develop that many types of products. So one of the way to leverage is to actually leverage on the strength of other people. So we are working now with 4 to 5 other brands, not our own brands, but third parties brands, and we distribute and sell their product through our IMMERI Select apps now. And all the sales in IMMERI Select, all their sales in IMMERI Select forms part of the repeat sales volume for our existing distributors. So this is how we look back at our value. Sharing is rewarding. We share the margins given by the third party with our distributors. That's the reason why I say when we make certain changes, we do not forget our principle, our value-based leadership. We do not forget our keyword for products as well. Honestly, when we speak to third-party brands, we insist in choosing product that conforms to our standard. I have shared with many of you that the product that we have chosen for IMMERI, we always based on 3 very key words for our products. That is, firstly is conscious. We want to develop a product that we ourselves will use, not just for our consumer, but for ourselves, like myself. That's conscious. We want to develop product with conscious. We want to develop product with craftsmanship. We want to develop our product with green ingredients. That same principle we apply to the products that we work with from third party as well. We do not compromise. We do not trade off. We still insist on the same level of standard as we require for our own products. So that's the reason why product development or the product that we put on to our apps, IMMERI Select, is also slow, but it is coming as well. So craftsmanship, green and conscious is the standard that we adopt. We will have no compromise. We do not trade off our values for nothing. So everyone stick to positive thinking, even when we must change. When we have to do addition to our business model, some people think it is becoming more complicated. They are not comfortable with it. They don't feel comfortable. Some of our leaders actually say that to me. They say, changing the model from totally off the line, but we added on a new element of online elements. They say they are not comfortable with it. I told them, too bad. Change has never been a comfort for everybody. Changes sometimes has to go through a process or a painful process. So we have to look at the positive side of the changes. We have to look at the wider landscape. We actually see more opportunities we see more opportunities. We actually see more potential customers and potential business partners now. Almost 7 weeks into the new apps, we are actually seeing more new potential customers who do not accept us as a direct selling company, now accept us as a direct selling plus company because we put in the social element into our direct selling models. So like I said, things happen for good and bad reasons. Bad because we are forced to change because of the technology advancement, because of the technology advancement, because of the pandemic, we were forced to change and change it in a fast way. But it also happens for good reasons because it opens up new opportunity for us. Honestly, we are moving into new markets, new people who are not so acceptable to direct selling in the past, but they could accept the new elements of our business model, the social commerce part of our direct selling models. So honestly, a lot of our leaders, 7 weeks into the new models, the new additions, a lot of our leaders are very happy. So we are also developing new products in China. We hope to bring this good quality craftsmanship, green products to other parts of the world as well. But of course, when it comes to products, there are a lot of constraints, regulation issues. We have to conform to a lot of regulatory requirements in countries. So that will actually take some time, but we hope to deliver more and products to all our markets in different regions. So everyone, the most important leadership, the fourth element of our leadership, we model the way. As a leader, we are role model for the people we lead. We may think that they look upon us for direction, but as a matter of fact, I think before we become their beacons, before we are able to lead them, giving them direction, I think we have to first to become the role model for the people that we lead. A leader is not a figure of speech. Leader is a figure of actions. We have to do what we preach. When we say our dream is to bring happiness to ourselves and our people, I think we have to make sure that we make decisions that will ultimately actually lead to happiness, not just for us or our family, but to people and their families, to those people and their families that we lead, whom we lead in their career and in their endeavors. As a leader, we cope with the changes in the world and make navigational changes as time and environment change. But we do not change our heart and our principle in leading our people. COVID-19, whether there is COVID-19 or not, honestly, the world is progressing, evolving. Our business model and our modus operandi needs to evolve. We must progress toward realizing our dreams and achieving our goals, but in such a way that we relate and ground our dreams in reality. Let our dreams live in the practical world and not the other way around. Let it be in China, in Malaysia, in Philippines, in Ghana, or in Nigeria, or even in Egypt, or anywhere else in the world where we have our business partners and consumers for our products. I want to assure you that deep in our heart, we are still who we are. We may change the way we manage, we may change the way we operate the businesses, but deep in our heart, our original aspirations has not and will not change. And I think, to me personally and to the board of directors of IMMERI International, I think that is the way forward for IMMERI. We will have to center our leadership based on our principle. That's why I call it the principle-centered leadership. That is the way forward for IMMERI and for IMMERI International. Time is 2020 is a very challenging year. It takes all our heart together. We have to pull our strength all together in order to make our dreams come true. And remember, our dream live in the real world. And the real world has never been a smooth one. The world doesn't happen in the way that we want it to be. It always takes us by surprise. A lot of things has taken us by surprise, including pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic. So despite the fact that we live in these very painful changes, I think this is also the way that we have to move forward. We have to face with the pain. We cannot avoid facing the painful reality. And we take the pain and we move forward. IMMERI will never change. We will never change our heart. We will insist on bringing happiness to ourselves and our family by bringing you our by bringing you products with our conscious, with craftsmanship, and with green ingredients. That's the way forward. And we still want to keep our business simple because we want to keep ourselves happy. So I hope every one of us, be it you are part of the management team or you are part of the leaders in our distributor groups, I think every one of us, if we can pull together, hold our hands together, heart with heart, the year 2020, despite its toughness, despite its challenges, I think we could still make it, we could still break it, and we could still move forward aggressively like 2 years ago. Thank you. Thanks a lot.